Alright, welcome guys to another Blender live stream. I'm your host Morgan Ozpin, and today we're gonna be continuing with animating my latest animation right here called Fighting Actor, wherein you guys get to see two dudes fighting in a ring in a wrestling match wherein there's no disqualification and there's definitely a rivalry between them. Um, Anyway, hold on. Let me just get a sip of water here before I begin because I forgot to take a glass of water. Hmm. I've been drinking a lot of water recently because I'm feeling my lips getting chapped. But hey, I guess that's what it's like to feel dehydrated. Anyway, we're gonna be continuing with this, with this scene here. So if you guys were here last time, you have known that, we made the outline of this cowboy character for, on our last stream, which was I think last week. And we just pretty much animated this guy walking from this point to this point. Just ignore the 3D model. That's the one I used to sort of reference all of the outlines for this character. But now, offline, I pretty much did a few bits of the coloring layers here. Like for example, on the cowboy, I've already added a little bit of the orangeness and the blackness of his clothes. And I've also, sorry. A little bit of a sore throat there. I've also finished coloring a little bit of the wrestler on this corner over here, and also did a little bit of the coloring of the guy, the referee character, over here as well. But as you can see, if I scroll through the timeline, you would have noticed that the guy still doesn't have any other color for the rest of its layers, so we're gonna be working on that on this stream. So that's what we'll be doing today. Sorry guys. I know I could have finished this by around this week, but aside from the amount of college requirements I've been doing this past couple of weeks and the week that's coming, another reason why I haven't been completing this is because I have fallen into a freaking gaming addiction this past couple of weeks. And if you guys do not know what my gaming addiction is, just go read the thumbnail for the stream because it's definitely that game. Harvest Moon. Oh my god, this game has been freaking taking over my life since the start of January. Hold on, let me just quickly add a layer over here. Is this the right layer? Like right frame, I mean. Hold on, I need to. No, it's like somewhere over here, I think, when the change happens. So I'm gonna start coloring this guy from this point in the timeline. Anyway, yeah, I've been freaking addicted to Harvest Moon lately. So how I got into this rabbit hole, if you guys are unaware, is that I just finished replaying the Donkey Kong trilogy this past couple of months because I haven't I noticed that I haven't really finished Donkey Kong Country Free for the GBA when I first played it by myself offline, and I thought to myself, damn, that was a very good game, a much better game than what people anticipated it to be. So I was like, damn, I want that new gaming fix for me right now, something that would fill up that hole that I have when I had, when I was enjoying freaking Donkey Kong Country Free. So I started looking around for some other GBA games to play, and I stumbled across one that sort of fits what I wanted at that time, because I didn't want to play another platformer in the GBA, because I don't want another thing that sort of reminds me of Donkey Kong Country 3, because as much as I like the game, I know how how frustrating the platforming can be if you don't have the patience to sort of figure out how to maneuver yourself throughout the levels. So I wanted like a cozy game to be my next big thing to play on the system. And by system, I mean an emulator, because my god, I can't find a freaking GBA in my freaking country right now. But yeah, so I wanted like a cozy game to play for the GBA, so I searched up online. Hey Google, it's me, Morgan. Please let me know if there's any cozy games that there are in the GBA, because I want something that's a little bit more relaxing than Donkey Kong Country 3. And Google was like, okay, I got you, fam. And as I was looking through Google, it turns out that I guess there's not really that much cozy games in the GBA. As much as I've heard, like there's no Animal Crossing published for the Game Boy Advance, because I'm pretty sure that's, by the time like the GBA was released, Animal Crossing was just released for the Nintendo GameCube. So I don't think there was like a big market for cozy games back then. When the GBA was still like a system that people can play on. But Google, by instinct, just recommended to me a freaking obscure little title for the GBA called Harvest Moon: Friends of Mineral Town, published by Natsume, later now called Marvelous. I mean, well, technically it's created by the people in Marvelous right now, but like the people who published it was like Natsume. It's a very complicated thing that happened with this freaking franchise, but it was at that time published by Natsume, and it's basically just a farming simulator wherein you get to grow crops, raise animals, and earn money by doing so. As you go do these other activities like mining, foraging around the forest, and if you want to, you can like date a bunch of the villagers in that game. And I was like, okay, this feels like a very comfy game. Although I didn't expect anything much of it, other than like say like something that would just, I don't know, I would play in the background if I have nothing else to do. So I was like, okay, this feels like a good game. Just not something, just not a game, and it's not a game that would take over my life. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this game for just a bit. And for the first few hours playing that game, I was a little bit frustrated. Because if you guys have ever played like a farming simulator before, or a cozy farming simulator game before, like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, you would know how boring it would feel to start off playing these types of games, because like unlike your 2D platformers or your 3D first person shooters, there's really not much going on in the first few hours playing this game. Not to mention, this is like 2003 that this game was published, or 2005. And there's there's for some reason this sort of difficulty spike in the beginning, wherein you only get to like carry like three single items per in your inventory every time you go around the town, and that was like a little bit frustrating for me. And not to mention that during the start of this game, I didn't really know what to do at the start. So I was just like roaming around the city, figuring out where the frick is the crops that I need to grow, the trees, and I also did like a little bit of a noob move at the start of Harvest Moon, and spent it on a bunch of apples that I shouldn't have brought from this guy named Juan. And I thought, hey, maybe I can make some apple trees out of this apples I brought from this guy. But nope, this guy is just you're gonna just scam me out of my own money. And the first day of Harvest Moon, I was pretty much broke. Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, that is. So yeah, I was freaking broke. I didn't know. I felt like giving up on this game by the time I noticed that I don't really have any more money left to keep me through this season. So I was on the verge of giving up, but then I freaking decided, alright, maybe this is just then maybe I'm just doing something wrong. So I looked up online on what to do to sort of earn back my money, and I figured out that you can do some other stuff like picking up some stuff in the forest, or mining and fishing to gain back your lost gold. In case you spent it on a guy named Juan, who would sell you apples for 500 gold, and I'm like, oh my god, what the frick is with Juan? So yeah, I figured out how to get my money back easily. By the way, it's like, if you guys are thinking of playing Friends of Mineral Town and you have an emulator with you, or an old GBA, I don't know, just go get some bluegrass or some freaking copper from the mine. You pretty much earn a lot of money from that. At least at the start, that's a lot of money for a beginner playing that game. And yeah, by the time I noticed that this game is much easier than I would have thought it was, I freaking sunk a lot of time into this game. To a point that I started not doing a bunch of things I should be doing during the duration of my day, like animating or freaking studying for my for my college test, or doing my laundry, cooking for myself, eating. Basic things like drinking water. Like I learned from my experience playing Harvest Moon that I think a big fan of farming simulators as a genre. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this same statement, but I really like it when a game just lets you go around the world, earn a bunch of cash, and grind as you discover new things from this world, like for example, in this new game that I'm playing, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, I found out that if you just don't want to do shit, you can just ask the harvest sprites to do some basic stuff like watering and caring for your animals and shit. And I find that a very huge discovery. Like this game sort of teaches me about spending my time and my resources wisely, and when you start like gaining more money as you go throughout the day, you're like, oh my god, this is such a satisfying experience to play. But ironically, as a game that teaches you to spend your time wisely, I really didn't spend a lot of my real life IRL time wisely as I played through this game, because oh my god, I remembered I was about to go to sleep this one evening thinking, oh my god, alright, I'm gonna go freaking I'm gonna start doing a lot of exercises in the morning. By the time I wake up early in the morning the next day. But then I looked at my phone which has the emulator that I'm using to play this game, and I'm like, alright, maybe I should just play one little playtime of Harvest Moon before I sleep. And I thought that I was only playing it for like a couple of minutes, because like only a day has just gone by. But then, as soon as I, spent one day of of in-game time in Harvest Moon, and I finally hit the sack in the game, I looked at my watch, and I saw that I've spent about 3 hours, or well, I guess like 2 hours or an hour, I guess, in this in this one day in Harvest Moon. I'm like, what the fuck what just happened? And it turns out, I didn't recognize this as I was playing this game, but it turns out that if you spend a little bit more of your time indoors in the game, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, the in-game clock sort of stops moving for a bit, and it only starts moving whenever you go outside and do stuff like harvesting your crops, watering your crops, taking care of your animals if you're outside. But if you're staying in a secluded place like your barn or the shops or your house, like the in-game clock would just not work, which I guess makes the experience of playing the game less stressful, because I always thought that I'm in the race against time when playing this game. But as a consequence, when playing this game, I sort of lost track of time, and it turns out I pretty much poured like 2 hours of my real life time playing one in-game time in Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. My god. I just always like to get addicted to games, because oh my god, I wanna start, doing more stuff in real life rather than spending time in Harvest Moon. But my god, the gameplay loop in Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town is so addicting. For a game that was published like 20 years ago, there's just so many things to discover in this game, like the mines, cooking recipes that you can cook in a game. I mean, even like a little bit some story lines if you are planning to date some of the game's characters. By the way, if for you guys who are wondering, I think Marie is best girl in Friends of Mineral Town, and I've been constantly giving her bamboo shoots throughout every waking day of my in-game time in that game. So yeah, there's even a lot of these machines that I can purchase from the blacksmith that can give me more money by having me generate a bunch of mayonnaise and stuff. Right now in the game Harvest Moon, I think my main moneymaker right now is the chicken coop, which I've already expanded and created a mayo maker inside it, which gives me the ability to make mayo, which sells me a market price of 100 grand each for just the regular mayo. But if I use good quality eggs for this freaking mayo maker, I can pretty much how do I call this, earn 150 per bottle of mayo whenever I play this game. So yeah, this game is a blast. If you guys want something to play during your free time and you don't have freaking Stardew Valley as an option, just go play Harvest Moon, because for an old game, there's just so much things to do, I guess. And just figure out how to get things done more efficiently is just the primary selling point when playing Harvest Moon, for the DS, for the GBA, I mean. Now, since I have this gaming addiction, I'm thinking of maybe trying to capitalize on this by playing for the first time in this channel a game during a live stream of mine. I mean, technically, I guess I already did play some games before on this channel, but this time I want to play like a little bit of a Harvest Moon game for you guys for the Nintendo DS. I'm thinking of playing sometime in the future. I want to play like I want to play, I think, the Tale of Two Towns with you guys on stream, because I was thinking of playing DS Cute, but I heard of how glitchy it can be, so I was thinking, okay, maybe I just go ahead and play Tale of Two Towns. I also considered playing the island games for the DS, because, you know, I have a DS emulator readied up. But I heard that there were some touchscreen controls that I need to be aware of, and if you guys are unaware, freaking DS touch controls were so wonky back then. Because, my god, I once tried to play freaking Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow for the DS, and I remembered how frustrating it was to use the touch controls for that game. And so anything that has touch controls in a Harvest Moon game that's published in the DS, I'm not doing it. So I decided to play maybe a Tale of Two Towns. Even though people say it's like a more controversial title in the series because of something about how it's a much more stressful experience that locks you into a specific path if you do not choose correctly. But I mean, this is already like modern Harvest Moon. I'm thinking that maybe it won't be that frustrating for me. Hold on, let me just quickly we can get rid of this thing right here. All right. I think I messed up the pattern for this one guy, so I'm gonna just erase the crap out of this. I think I should have used the freaking. I should have used the edit mode for this. Okay, hold on. No. No. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm gonna get rid of these points here. Need to properly paint the crap out of these patterns. So yeah, guys, expect a playthrough of A Tale of Two Towns at some point. This will be my first, well, I guess my first ever dedicated Let's Play series for this channel. I don't know if you guys are into Let's Plays, but heck, I was not even into doing Let's Plays until I got into Harvest Moon. But I figured, hey, this feels like a good game to play if you wanna, you know, chat with your audience. Because as much as Harvest Moon can get a little bit stressful, it can get a little bit relaxing if you get into the pattern of what the game wants you to do. And plus, the idea of a Harvest Moon game just letting you, you know, take a breather every time you go inside is pretty much a plus for me. At least I don't need to worry that much about how much time I'm wasting in game when I play Harvest Moon. But yeah, expect a gameplay series of Tale of Two Towns at some point. I'm also thinking of maybe doing a 3D model of Pete at some point as another Blender project of mine, because I also want to do like a parody of a Harvest Moon parody at some point. So yeah, we're gonna do a lot of good stuff with Harvest Moon to feed my addiction. to it. There we go. Let me just quickly move some of these points around. Anyway, what do you guys think is the best Harvest Moon game for you guys? And don't say something like Rune Factory, because I know that's like a different game series in itself. Like, just give me some good recommendations for any Harvest Moon or Story Seasons games I should try out in the near future. Yeah, I'm also thinking of playing. Hold on, let me just quickly. Okay, wait. How do I get the keyframes here to work? Oh, it's in the back. Oh my god. How do I get the onion skin to view and render? No, I don't want to view it and render. Alright. This sucks. And I can't view the onion skin in rendered mode either. Can I do it in? No, I can do it in wireframe. Onion skin. Well, I guess I can't. I can get the onion skin here to work correctly. There's gotta be like a way for it to appear in the front, right? Let me see. Frame selected, frame all. Area? No. Guides? No. Oh my god, Blender, there has to be like a way for you to make sure that the freaking onion skin is always in front. Maybe it's the viewport display? No, I can only like get the entirety of the grease pencil to be in front, not the onion skins. Oh, this sucks. Alright, Blender, if you're watching this, can you please have it be... there be an option for my onion skin to be in front of my grease pencil at some point? Because this is not looking good. What if I tried to move the... No, I don't think it'll work like that. Self-overlap? Holdout? Holdout? Nope. Pass index? No. Oh well, fuck it. I'm just gonna maybe just use the timeline to see where my strokes are at. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I guess the first thing to do here is need to make a line over here. You know, like a little bit of a gray pattern over here. Then one over here. One over here. And one more over here. Okay. Alright. Speaking of farming, guys, I think sometime this month, I'm gonna be going on a farm trip with my family. At some point in February, I think. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that's gonna be happening some point in the future. I'm gonna be going to a farm. And I'm gonna be like, yo, this is Harvest Moon, but in real life. Okay, let me just quickly fix this up. There we go. Let's just thicken up that stroke. Alright. Alright, there we go. And finally, let's make another one over here, I guess. Okay, let me just thicken up a little bit of the line here. Right. There we go. Alright, nice. Okay, I'm gonna move this. There we go. Move the crap out of this. There. Fuck it. There we go. And let's add a little bit of a striped color here as well. Even as I'm freaking doing my animations, I still can't wait to hop back into my game of Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. Okay, I think we just need to add a few more stuff here. There we go. And also I need to connect this here. Nice. And oh my god, I still also need to freaking... What if I just I have a freaking 3D model, I forgot, of this guy. I can just copy it from here, I guess. Okay, so let's make a pattern here. Oh, shit. Let's make a pattern here. Okay. Pattern here. Pattern here. And a slight pattern over here. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, let's move on to the next frame here. Insert blank keyframe. Let's go back to solid mode here because I find it much easier to paint in a purple background for this type of character. And let's paint. Oh wait, did I paint the shoes for this guy? Okay, I did. All right. All right, let's start painting. You know, I thought that I can talk more about Harvest Moon throughout this this live stream, but now I'm freaking out of ideas on what to talk about about this game. I know if there's one thing I can criticize about Harvest Moon right now, it's that there are just some parts of the game wherein it doesn't feel like it never. Because there's some parts or features in the game wherein you point to it and you think, oh my god, that's bullshit. You know, because as I was looking through, you know, ways to increase my stamina in the game, I figured out that if you were to like throw a cucumber into this lake in the game, you would sort of meet up with this guy named Kappa, who is this sort of mythical monster that lives in the bottom of this lake. And if you give him if you give him like a cucumber for 10 straight days, he would eventually give you a power berry. And I'm like, what the frick is this Metroidvania ass logic that I have to go through just to get my stamina to increase? And then there's also this little freaking thing with the Jewel of Truth, wherein throughout the map of this game you can collect 9 Jewels of Truth, which are these round stones that you can collect, and they're hidden in the most obscure places, like under a lamppost or on top of a refrigerator. And if you collect all 9 of them, you'll eventually be given the ability to finally know how much stamina or fatigue you have during any point of your stay in Mineral Town. And I'm like, what the fuck? This should have been a feature in the beginning of the game, you know, like a stamina bar or a fatigue bar. Because I don't like it when because I know that the game is trying to make it a little bit more difficult for you at the start, to have it be like a more satisfying thing for you to experience when you finally have everything done more efficiently by the end of the game. But I don't think this is the way to make your game more harder, by hiding the stamina bar via these 9 Jewel of Truths that you need to collect throughout the game. And some of these requirements to get the Jewel of Truth is also hard for a player, because there's just one Jewel of Truth that you need to buy in the shop that's cost around 50,000 gold. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to spend my money on the Jewel of Truth if I don't know where the hell the other ones are. So yeah, the game can be a little bit frustrating. But then again, if you guys just want a better Harvest Moon game, just go play Stardew Valley, I guess. The only reason why I'm not playing Stardew Valley right now is because my freaking brothers and sisters broke the Nintendo Switch that I've been using to play that game. So as an alternative, I've only been playing Harvest Moon throughout my time to get my farming sim fix. But yeah, Harvest Moon can get a little bit frustrating, but the main point of the series is not to sort of complain about the features you lack during the start of the game. It's the satisfaction you sort of inherit by the end of the game, when you finally, you know, purchase all the machines, all the chickens that you need, all the crops that you need to earn more money and make your life much easier. It's what makes the game loop of Harvest Moon so satisfying, I'd say. And I only heard from here on that Story of Seasons / Harvest Moon gets a little bit easier, and I'm like, no, don't do that. I want my farming sims to be more challenging and shit. I don't know, it's challenging as like finding 9 jewels of truth, but you know, still, I want a little bit of some challenge at the start of the game to keep things more, you know, keep things more in the edge of the seat, and keeps you wanting to look for more stuff throughout the town. Because without a challenge, why should I be playing that game in the first place? Hey yo, what's up? By the way, something I freaking find funny about this game is that there's a kind of a religion in Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, that sort of functions as a way for you to get better crops by just, you know, worshipping the goddess in this game. And what I found most funny about this religion is that you can also like do a confession with the local priest in the church there, and you can confess to things like, hey, I'm overworking the harvest brides, or I am oversleeping, or hey, I've been littering throughout the town whenever I get some junk ore or something. And I just for some reason find that very funny to be a feature in the game. And it's even funnier when you figure out that all confessions you confess to this priest would be forgiven. Because I think you need to like give a bunch of flowers to the goddess before you confess your sins. But yeah, it's a pretty funny feature of the game. What else? I also don't try to save scum whenever I I guess I haven't saved scum yet, because one there's like one way for you guys to sort of complete the game of Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. Is that by going through the mines of the game, and it can get a little bit frustrating going through the mines because in order to go down one floor, you need to dig a bunch of holes on one level of the mine to get to the other floor below it, and it's complete RNG where this hole would be to get yourself to descend from this mine. So freaking Let's Players of this game decided to sort of save scum the shit out of the game to get to the bottom of the mine quickly to get 100% completion to this game. But as of now, I still haven't been tempted to do some save scumming. Anyway, that's I guess my experience of Harvest Moon. I also want to play Rune Factory at some point. I want to try playing the first game in the series because I do like it when my farming sims have a top-down perspective to it. I don't know why, but something about that sort of perspective in the game feels much more eye-catching to me compared to the more 3D path that Story of Seasons / Rune Factory is going through right now. So yeah, I like my top-down perspective farming sims, and Rune Factory seems to be also a good game. because I heard it's just Harvest Moon but with combat added to it whenever you go through the mines and shit. I don't know. But yeah, I feel that sounds like that just sounds like Stardew Valley to me, you know. Because I guess the one thing that I feel like I missed from Stardew Valley is the fact that, well, I mean, like, the one feature that I missed from Stardew Valley that's not present in the Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons series is the whole combat mechanics that you can get as as you forage through the mines. And I was disappointed that when I first entered the mines of this game, there weren't that much monsters to slay, or any monsters to slay in Friends of Mineral Town. But when I heard that their spin-off series, Rune Factory, has combat, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can play this game instead after I complete Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. So yeah, that's gonna be my next gaming fix after this. Rune Factory. I also want to play this other game called Sunhaven because I saw some gameplay of it and it reminds me of Stardew Valley in a way. And I don't want to play Stardew Valley because I feel like people have already figured out all the secrets to that game, so I want to play like a farming sim where not much people have really played a lot of. And I thought, okay, maybe I can play Sunhaven as well at some point. Anyway, if you guys are not really a big gamer, just go play a cozy game like the ones I'm playing right now. Those are really fun to play, even though the idea of starting a farm and working doesn't feel like a fun gameplay loop for you guys. It can get a little fun if you actually get into it, especially when you start getting to know more about the characters in the game and all the mechanics to getting your money to go up. Yes, that's the one thing I figured out as I played through Harvest Moon. I'm really a big cozy game fan, I guess. Heck, I think my first ever video for this channel is just me playing Minecraft, and that's technically a cozy game, right? I mean, there's farming, there's a little bit of combat, but it's not too serious of a combat in the game. I also want to play Minecraft at some point, like replay it, but I know that because I think the one problem I have with Minecraft right now is that it gives you too many options when you first play it. Like, I know that's like a little bit of a weird thing to say, like too many options in the game. What are you talking about? That sounds like a good thing to experience during a game. But I'm like I like it when my game tells you what to do at the start, rather than giving you these open branches of choices to do at the start, because it just sort of, because I heard of this thing called game choice paralysis, I think that's what it's called, wherein you are offered too many choices to a point that by the end you just don't do anything throughout the majority of your game time. And that usually happens because the game that you're playing offers you too many things to do, to a point that, if you don't really know how to spend your time correctly, you just end up not doing a lot of progress throughout the majority of your time in the game. And I don't like that. I like a game it's in between, like an open world type of game and a game where it still sort of tells you what to do as you play it. And I think farming sims and Harvest Moon in general is just that type of game for me, wherein it doesn't tell you what to do, but it sort of leads you to it without really telling you what to do. Because I know that there's some other Harvest Moon games that people don't like, Harvest Moon One World, was it? wherein it went with the whole Minecraft ideology of crafting a game wherein. Yeah, I already ate with Nanai. Yeah. So guys, my freaking sister came into my room and asked if I already ate some freaking lunch. For lunch I ate like a freaking Reuben sandwich from a place called Origin Cafe, because my mom was like took me throughout the city, and my mom was like, hey, since we were outside the city, we can just go ahead and eat. And we ate at this freaking nice looking cafe called Origin Cafe. And hey, you can never go wrong with with cafe food. I mean, I don't know what's like in the US, but in a cafe you can not only get like coffee and shit, you can also like get some more savory treats like a sandwich, or my mom ordered bacon and eggs with a side of salad. And you can even in the one cafe I went to, we can also buy some pastries. I ordered like a matcha donut, and my mom ordered a croissant with an almond topping and a spread of chocolate. And I'm like, oh my god, this feels like a good looking meal. But anyway, back to Harvest Moon. What was I talking about? Yeah, I like Harvest Moon because it's not as open as Minecraft, but it can give you a lot of choices as you progress through the game. And I know like there are some games in the franchise that go with the whole Minecraft aesthetic, like one world and new beginning, wherein it sort of gives you the option to terraform the world around you. And I'm like, no, I don't want that to be part of my Harvest Moon game. I want there to be a pre-existing setting whenever I play through your game, Marvelous. I don't want to be making my own village. I just want to farm and and make money. I want more of that. I don't want more responsibilities in my game. So yeah, freaking Harvest Moon is pretty good. Let me just paint up this shell over here. Anyway, I guess that's my the end of my Harvest Moon talk for you guys, because I don't know if a majority of my viewers really are aware of Harvest Moon as a gaming franchise, but if you're more of the casual gamer, I think you guys would like Harvest Moon. I mean, it doesn't have the freaking pay to win mechanics that most games in the App Store would have. You can get everything without ever having to spend money on it. And it's also not as frustrating as like your MMORPGs or MMOs. And speaking of which, I want to discuss about the things I dislike in my games. I figured out later on in my life that I really don't like it when, well, I guess I don't really like multiplayer games in general. Specifically multiplayer games when you fight with each other as you play throughout the game. Not that I'm against violence or something. That's not really what I mean, but I hate it because whenever you hop into a game like mobile, what's it called again? Like Mobile Legends, or League of Legends, or a hero shooter like Overwatch or Apex. you'd eventually find people who are much better than you, to a point that, you know, by the moment you enter a match with these types of players, they would have already wrecked you a few seconds later, and you're like not having a lot of fun and shit. And I don't like that sort of challenge in my game. I mean, I do like my challenge in my games, but I don't want to be facing a world-class esports athlete during my first time playing a game. Which is why I more gravitate towards single-player games than multiplayer games. I also like I also don't like it whenever a game asks you to fork some money as you play throughout the game. Okay, I don't like my microtransactions. That's why I never got into games like, what's it called? Those gacha games like Genshin Impact or what's it called? Zenless Zone Zero. I'm not really a big fan of those types of games. I mean, I like the style of them, but the moment I realized that in order to get these upgrades, you need to buy some skins, buy some loot boxes. When I first heard of that, I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to play this game. Because I think the first ever games that I played that had the pay-to-win mechanic was an old game from the App Store called Xenonia, which is this sort of Zelda-like top-down 2D action RPG, where you get to play as either a swordsman, a mage, or a gunner. I remembered how fun it was playing throughout the beginning of the game, but then I reflected on my experience playing throughout the later aspects of the game, and I remembered how freaking hard it was to go beat a bunch of the standard enemies in these later levels. And I soon realized that by this point, the game is sort of forcing me now to fork up some cash. Because there's no way in hell that a game publisher would rack up the difficulty this high unless they really want you to spend money on their in-game store or something. So yeah, that's what I don't like about my games, multiplayer games, and microtransactions. I like it when a game is complete right from the get-go. I mean, I guess I can be more forgiving if the game only has loot boxes for skins and shit, because I'm not really a big fan of skins. So any game that only earns money through skins, I think that's okay for me. As long as the upgrades you need to progress through the game isn't locked behind a paywall, I'm fine with that. I'm also fine for a game to be earning money. I'm fine with a game earning money through just custom skins, because I feel like that's like, to me, that sounds like DLC by this point. And I'm not a big fan of skins, so a big fan of skins. So in the end, I'm not really tempted to fork money on skins. But other than that, fuck microtransactions. Anyway, let me just quickly make the patterns for this guy. Alright, so we're now making a bunch of stuff here. Also need to make a sketch here, a sketch here, and a little bit of a thing here. Okay. Alright, then we need to make a pattern here. What else do I don't like about my games? I mean, people say they don't like games that focus on story, but looking back at the games I like, I think I don't mind a game to have a focus on the story. It's just that whenever a game focuses on story, I would always think, dang, I would rather just, you know, maybe watch a let's play of this rather than playing it myself. Because if all there is to a game is just a story, I'd rather just watch it rather than play it, you know? But some examples of some games I played with a good story is maybe Fire Emblem Awakening. That had a good story. And the reason why I played through, I played my way throughout this game was because I thought the story was good, and I wasn't spoiled by the events that will happen in the game. Because I didn't really see any gameplay of it before I hopped into a game session of Fire Emblem Awakening. But I know that if I would have watched a let's play of it, I would have not played it at all, I guess. Although then again, though, it's a Fire Emblem game, so it's I guess it's a pretty good game in my opinion. Hold on. There you go. Can I try to? Oh, no, I can't freaking paint. Dang it. Is there a way to decrease the opacity of this? Actor display. God damn it! I can't change the opacity of this at all. All right, let me just quickly. Make more of this. And more of this. There we go. All right. This is work. Hold on. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm just gonna. I'm going for a very wacky cartoon style here anyway, so I don't really mind that much imperfections in my animation. So there we go. Let me just also quickly change up a little bit of my layers here. There we go. Okay. Anyway. Oh. Wrong layer. Give me a new frame over here. Thank you very much. Let's hide all the 3D models. And let's start animating once again. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about Harvest Moon, of course. Oh yeah, I was talking about the things I dislike about my games. Um, yeah, I guess the only things I don't like are just microtransactions in the multiplayer games. And I do like it when there are some co-op games that I can play. You know, games wherein you work as a team to you know, solve a problem or something. So I guess I like Minecraft in a way, not only for its uh, single player experience, but also for its multiplayer experience. Because you can just like troll a bunch of your friends while you play that game. Um, what else? I guess that's about it. Okay, I guess that's it for my gameplay talk with you guys. Check back again next week if you want me to play. If you want me to talk about the latest gaming news for you guys on this week's episode of Nintendo Direct. Sorry guys, I've been I don't know why, but I've been on YouTube. I've been, for some reason, been going through the rabbit hole of watching a bunch of Nintendo creators, wherein it's their primary job to just talk about the latest Nintendo news and shit. I guess I'm a big fan of some of Nintendo's games, even though I haven't really played a bunch of them. At least their newer titles, I haven't really played a bunch of them. But I got pretty hyped when Metroid Prime 4 was announced a couple of months ago. I haven't played the Metroid Prime series yet, but I heard it's a pretty good ass game. It's like, it's just Metroid but in 3D, you know? And I'm like, that's a pretty good selling point for this specific game. And people were freaking out whenever they when they heard Xylox was gonna be in the newest Metroid Prime game. And I'm like, who's Xylox? And they're like, oh, this is a guy from the Metroid Prime Hunters spin-off series you haven't heard about. And I'm like, my god, I still have a lot of things to learn about in terms of the Metroid lore. But yeah, I'm hyped for Metroid Prime 4. I do want to try. I want to try playing the Metroid Prime at some point because I haven't played that yet. The reason why I haven't gotten into playing Metroid Prime yet is because I don't know. I guess I just got a little bit busy, and I don't know why, but I guess I'm not really that kind of person that would jump into a 3D game that quickly. But then again, this is a Metroid game, so I'm not as against you know, playing a 3D game as I am usually. So maybe I'll get into it at some point. Playing Metroid Prime, I mean. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of these Nintendo creators on YouTube. I've recently been watching Peanut Butter Gamer recently. Because I remember I used to be a avid watcher of him when I was a little boy, just, you know, wanting to watch a bunch of video game reviews on YouTube, and I thought, oh my god, this Peanut Butter Gamer guy is just JonTron, but but kid friendlier, I guess. But I sort of grew out of watching Peanut Butter Gamer at some point because I feel like JonTron was just a funnier guy to watch. But I started watching some of his games again, and some of his videos again, just recently, and I came to a realization that, oh my god, this guy has like the same gaming tastes as me. He likes his Nintendo videos, his Nintendo games, but he also likes he also has a bunch of he also has a bunch of videos on Harvest Moon, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is just basically me in terms of the games he plays, Although he does sometimes play a bunch of these Arthur games, and I'm like, what the fuck why are you spending your time on playing these bad games? Go play some good games for once, man. But yeah, I've also been watching a bunch of videos from Gaming Historian. What I like about some of the videos I like from Gaming Historian was his documentary on Satoru Iwata, and I was a little bit unaware about this past president's career until I've watched this Gaming Historian video. And by the time I stopped watching this video, I'm like, oh my god, this is such a sad but also very inspiring story of a man who, even though he's like the CEO of a company, he's in the end just like us in a way. If you guys are unaware of who Satoru Iwata is, he was like the Nintendo president of Japan for a couple of years. And what people like about this guy was that not only was he a CEO, but he was also a game developer at some point. To a point that he was also responsible for helping the game creator of Pokemon fix up the game when they were releasing Red and Green for the Game Boy for the first time. And he was also in charge of, I think, oh no, it wasn't Kirby, but he was part of HAL Laboratories, I think, at some point, and that was the same studio that brought you guys games like Kirby and I think Smash Brothers as well, because I know that the game the game developer that created the Smash Brothers that created Kirby went on to create Smash Brothers for the N64. So yeah, this guy was a very prominent a very prominent and well-respected leader of Nintendo from the 90s all the way up to the mid 2010s, to a point that he was the reason why Nintendo switched from being a family-owned business to a business wherein it fairly respects their employees in a way that, hey, if you're doing good in your job, you can properly rank up and become a CEO someday, and you don't need to worry about these nepo babies taking your job, because hey, the freaking what matters most is how much effort you put into the job. And the reason why they switched from this sort of way of doing things, because the president at the time, I think it was called Yamauchi or something, was just so impressed with Iwata's work ethic during his time there that he pretty much gave up his position to Iwata rather than his son, even though it's tradition in the company to give the president position to a family member of the now retired president, because he really admired his work, and plus he knows that Iwata is much more knowledgeable about the gaming industry compared to his family, because I'm pretty sure his family was more into the Hanafuda card business, which is just a business that sells a bunch of playing cards for Japan. Because before Nintendo was a was a big player in the video game industry. They were out there selling yeah, playing cards in the 1800s. And yes, you are right. You're hearing that right. Nintendo has been a 100-year-old company now, and it's only now that they have. It's only just recently that they've really focused on the video game industry because of people like Shigeru Miyamoto. I forgot the other guy, but the guy who made the Game & Watch, and Satoru Iwata. You know, those are the guys that made Nintendo the way they are right now. The people that moved them away from the playing card business to the video game business. And I feel like after watching the documentary, it really made me realize that, hey, this is living proof that if you actually respect your employees and actually get to actually be immersed in the community that is the gaming community, you can actually earn some money by it, rather than just looking at numbers and seeing what works best in a chart. Like, I feel like Satoru Iwata is living proof that if you are a big fan of what you're doing, you'll eventually just find money without even knowing a little bit about what what's like the trend right now or something. Because Iwata, unlike your standard CEO right now, like, the thing about Iwata is that he is also a gamer himself. He's a guy who's responsible for developing some of the games that you probably have played before, like Kirby or Pokemon. I think maybe even Mario at some point. He was in charge of doing the coding for that for Super Mario 64, I think. And he even like made a bunch of. I heard he also made a bunch of games back then before he was in Nintendo, through this old gaming system. I can't remember. Yeah, he not only was a CEO, but he's also someone who really knows what to. What? Why are you mumbling? I am animating right now. Oh my god. Oh wait. Anyway, I guess that's gonna be it for my Nintendo talk. Yeah. Anyway, what I've been doing recently, well, other than playing Harvest Moon, I said before, I went out with my mom just this morning, because a bunch of family members of mine are coming to visit us, and my mom wants me to pick them up in this specific day, because my mom will be, what's it called? I'll be working in said day, and she wants me to pick them up at some point during this specific time of day. So she sort of took me through a field trip around the city, just to get me more immersed in the landmarks that I will be going through to pick up this one relative of mine. And after we scouted this area, my mom decided, hey, why don't we just go to Rockwell? Rockwell, by the way, guys, this this fancy little mall in the city called Makati. And I think I went there once to watch a bunch of movies with my family. But right now, since it was like early in the morning, the mall was. Oh wait, hold on. The mall was closed, so we looked around the area to see where we can eat, and my mom found this fancy little cafe that we can go to. And when I entered this cafe, I soon realized that I haven't really eaten out that much recently. I mean, I've been eating a lot of home cooked meals for myself this past few weeks, and I haven't really been eating at a bunch of restaurants lately. So this trip to the cafe was a first for me in a long time. And I looked at the menu and I saw how expensive the freaking the freaking food are. At least expensive for a Filipino's point of view. If you're an American, I think you can. I'm pretty sure you're fine spending. You guys are fine spending $10 for a sandwich or something. A sandwich with chips and a drink already. But yeah, I was looking at the menu and I was like, oh my god, this feels so expensive. This feels like a ripoff. And you know, but I shrugged at the price and I just ordered the sandwich anyway. They call it a Reuben sandwich, which was this sandwich with corned beef and sautéed onions on inside it. And I'm like, oh my god, I like corned beef. Let me have some corned beef as well. So I got the corned beef sandwich, aka the Reuben sandwich, and they served it with a side of chips and water. And my mom also decided to order dessert, so she gave me like a matcha donut. And I looked at the sandwich and I'm like, oh my god, this looks so big. This is a very big meal, like. Cause my god, this sandwich was so big that I barely even. I just had enough freaking space in my stomach to what's it called to finish this meal. Anyway, I soon realized that it wasn't really a waste of money because I feel like I can feed two children with this one meal I ate. But yeah, it was a pretty tasty sandwich. The one thing I realized after eating the sandwich is that, you know, corned beef isn't always just pure foods. Because the corned beef I know about is the one that's made by this one manufacturer called Pure Foods. And the way they make the corned beef is that they usually grind the meat into bits, resulting in this sort of stringy like look to the whole look of the corned beef. But with this cafe, they straight up give you like chunks of it, as in like I say it looks like a steak to me if I wasn't aware of it. So by the time I bite down the sandwich, I was sort of flabbergasted by the amount of meat in this one sandwich. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm choking right now, but in a good way. I mean, because it's a chunky sandwich, man. Like, oh my god, I feel like I've already spent I spent like a couple of my I would say this. I pretty much gained back the calories I burned when I worked out yesterday. So yeah, it's a pretty good sandwich. And my mom ordered bacon and eggs, and she can even finish hers as well. Well, yeah, I think next time I go to that freaking cafe, I'm not gonna order some dessert because the freaking meal is just big as it is. Pretty nice cafe though. If you guys ever ever hop into this place called Origin Cafe, go try out their specialty items there. Hold on, let me just... Okay. As for yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Oh yeah, I was practicing my impression taking because as a dental student, we're gonna be doing a bunch of preliminary exams wherein it's now my job as a practitioner to sort of take impressions of a patient's mouth using this sort of alginate material that my professor introduced to me. And I, for some reason, can never get the consistency of this material right. Because there's this sort of special mixing motion that you need to do when you're handling this sort of alginate material. And this because the way my teacher instructed me to mix this material is by doing a figure of 8 motion in a plaster bowl. And if you ever try to do like a figure of 8 motion in something like an egg bowl as you're mixing, like, I don't know, like you're beating an egg or something, you know how hard it is to coordinate your hand to do a figure of 8 motion with a beat, or in my case a spatula. So by a point that every time I mix alginate, it's never really in the right consistency that I want it to be. Which is why it's a good thing that when my classmate walked up to me and saw how bad my mixing was, he said, "Oh no, just don't do the mixing, the figure of 8 motion. Just do the simple circular motion that you're really used to, and do the figure of 8 motion mixing later on as your mix gets more homogeneous." And I followed his advice, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is much easier compared to doing the figure of 8 motion at the start. So yeah, that's what I've been doing recently. Oh, is this the... Yeah, this is the red one. Okay. What else have I been doing? I mean, I guess I've also been going to school, but there's really not much going on in my school right now. Although I can say though that I once was anticipating a quiz for one of my classes during one class of mine on Tuesday. And I was really anticipating for there to be a quiz, but it turns out if I was to be the person to have passed all the other quizzes that my professor has given me throughout the entirety of my semester, he would just excuse me if I have a high enough grade. And it turns out during my time with this professor, I never really failed any of his quizzes. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good to hear. That means I'm no longer needed to take this exam. But then I looked at the list of people who required to take this quiz, and it turns out I think I'm like the only one who was able to pass every quiz in this one subject of mine. Like not even the smartest students that I thought was smart was able to be on the level of me, I guess. So yeah, that was a little bit of a motivation for me throughout the week. Okay, let me just quickly. Just gonna make a line over here. Right, and also I guess also a line over here. Alright. Just realized I only did like 3 frames here. Yeah, I need to up the pace here if I wanna finish this one guy. Anyway, I have all the time in the world to finish this. Plus, I already have an animation going up in a few weeks, which is the Metroid animation I told you guys about on my community page. So if you guys want some more animations, you can check out my Ko-Fi page because I've already uploaded my Metroid animation through there. But if you guys don't have the funding to pay for it, don't worry, I'm still gonna publish it for free sometime in the near future on my channel. But for now, the animation will stay first on my Ko-Fi page. Because my boy needs to make money. Especially right now because I need to freaking fund my whole make money for a bunch of my college requirements, because right now my school is sort of asking us to buy a bunch of these dental materials and equipment that would cost me around like 15,000 pesos if I'm aware of. If I'm aware, if I'm aware of the price, I'm forgetting. Like they're asking us to buy a bunch of these stuff, like a micromotor or a light curing machine, and other stuff, and a phantom jaw as well. That's like very expensive if you don't know where to look. So I'm sort of anticipating for that to happen in my college, so I'm slowly working on the funds to fund that aspect of my life. So yeah, that's why I'm really worried about the money right now. Let me just quickly move back here. Alright, let me just paint up this belt. Alright. Paint up the belt, drink some water. my lips are feeling a little bit chapped right now, so I need to drink a little bit of water right now. Alright. Alright, let me just paint a bunch of this. We can call it a day. I also realized I haven't really been working on the website recently. But the only reason why I haven't been doing a lot of my Visual Studio Code live streams right now is because I really want to focus on finishing this animation right now. So anything that's not Blender related feels like a waste of time in my opinion. And if you compound that with the amount of stuff I'm doing in real life, you would understand why I'm not really working on my website right now. We just have a lot of stuff to do right now. That's what I'm saying. It's why I think you guys are not gonna see me do a lot of live streams throughout the majority of 2025. Because things are getting a little bit more hectic on my college stuff, but I will try to make some time for you guys. I also have like a little bit of a video essay coming up that I want to try and make. I haven't really done any recording of it right now, but I do have a working script for it, and it's a video essay on computer website coding. So if you guys want to know more about that, I will be posting a video about that sometime in the future. I think maybe after I work on this wrestling animation. But yeah, it's gonna be a thing that's gonna be happening as my next upcoming video essay. So be on the lookout for that. I don't want to do any more music albums right now because I feel like those are, I don't know why, but I don't really feel that much fulfilled whenever I work on a music album for this channel. Because compared to things like making websites or making, you know, Blender animations, making music is just, I guess, too easy for me, I guess. And I can work up a music album any time of the day, and I would not be satisfied with it. Anyway, I already have like a backlog of background music I can use, so I don't really need to work on new music projects right now. So yeah, I guess my main focus for 2025 right now is Blender and maybe a little bit of computer coding and Harvest Moon. Expect a let's play of Harvest Moon: A Tale of Two Towns at some point, guys. Either on YouTube or Twitch, because I don't know if there'll be any copyright issues if I stream it on YouTube. Plus, I haven't really been streaming on Twitch, so this could be a chance for me to put some content in that freaking website. But yeah, that's about it. See ya. Oops, let me just color this up. Oof, right. Alright guys, I would like to maybe give you guys a delayed thank you message for the support you gave me for my recent short. I think that's like my highest views I ever got in a short for this year right now. So I want to thank you guys for that. I'm not sure why you guys want to watch someone making a hot dog character in Blender, but I guess it's there now. And as always, if you guys want to see the full version of that, there's a time lapse of it on my video section of my channel if you're unaware. So if you want to see a more in-depth look on how I made the hot dog design, you can go check out my video on it, which is I think the latest video of mine right now. It's called, I think, my step-by-step process in making sausage mutts in Blender. Which, by the way, is an original character, if you guys are wondering. It's not like a fan-made thing. Like my recent Metroid renders of Samus and Lily. But I will be doing more fan-made renders in the future. I wanna make Pete from Harvest Moon as well as Mary from Harvest Moon. Basically more Harvest Moon related shit. Because I'm a big fan of the series right now. Hold on, let me just delete this. I just realized how to use the incorrect color for this. I'm also thinking maybe doing another Pokemon render, because I'm feeling a little bit more nostalgic again for some of my Gen 5 Pokemon. I think I may be doing a render of Emolga from Black and White, if I have the time. But let me just finish this grease pencil animation first before we move on to any other project. I already have like another major animation project in the works right now. I mean, planned right now, I mean. Not really in the works, but you know, I have like a little bit of a script already planned for what my next big animation project would be after I finish this up. So you guys don't need to worry about me running out of ideas. I guess it just takes a little bit of time for me to get my ideas out into video. It's the only problem I have right now. So yeah, that's gonna be what's at stake in the future. I think for my next live stream, I think I'll probably do another VST, a Visual Studio Code live stream. Because I think I consumed enough content right now to make more reviews on my website. Oh, forgot to color up this guy's head. I guess since we have a title for the stream that's called Harvest, talking about Harvest Moon, will like color my animation. I might as well maybe show you. I mean, tell you guys about some fun facts I've heard about when I was looking through the lore behind Harvest Moon and its development. So, fun fact: while Harvest Moon was being developed, like the original Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, when it was first being developed, I think I've heard that the freaking president of the company under Harvest Moon, which is Pack-in Video, went missing when during the development of this game. And when I first heard this fact about the franchise, I'm like, what the fuck? That's a thing? Well, what the frick happened to the president? And as I went through the videos talking about this little fun fact, all I can hear about this little tidbit about the franchise was that, hey, this guy was missing, but oh my god, look at this, look at what happened despite this odd circumstance. They beat Harvest Moon. And I'm like, no, I want to hear more about this missing president of Pack-in Video that you guys have been mentioning. What the frick happened to this guy? Is he safe? Is he fine? Is he still missing? That's what I want to know about this franchise, not the fact that the freaking game was developed despite the president being missing throughout the entirety of its development. Also, I think one of the rabbit holes I got into while I was looking into the history of Harvest Moon as a franchise was the split between Natsume and Marvelous when they finally decided to part ways and make their own Harvest Moon games. Because if you guys don't know, as of the modern era, Story of Seasons is the real Harvest Moon game that you remembered from the early 2000s. It's not the Harvest Moon series that's being, it's not the Harvest Moon series being published by Natsume right now. That's the real Harvest Moon. The Harvest Moon that fans remembered, that fans have played before, or now it's now named Story of Seasons. And the reason why they had this name change was because Marvelous, the developers behind Harvest Moon, split ways with the company localizing the game into the wait, what was the name again? Freaking Marvelous, the developers making Harvest Moon, parted ways with the company in charge of localizing the English translation of the game, named Natsume, and Natsume was like, oh no, we can't have this. We can't have this split. We're keeping the name because we were the ones in charge of naming your Boku no Monogatari series into naming it Harvest Moon for the West. So we're keeping the name Harvest Moon to ourselves. You guys can make the games, but we are keeping the name. And Marvel's just like, oh hell no, we can't be having this. So to make up for that, they sort of renamed the series into Story of Seasons. And that's how it is named now throughout the West. Story of Seasons instead of Harvest Moon. I mean, technically Harvest Moon still exists in the West, but it's not the same developers working behind it. And not to mention the games that are named Harvest Moon right now suck. At least as far as I've heard, because they went for a little bit of a more Minecraft aesthetic to the game, and I think they also added some microtransactions to it, which is, I think, definitely a no-go for me. But Story of Seasons still seems to be a pretty good series to play, even though it's not anymore named Harvest Moon. Yeah, because it's still the same gameplay format with some added gameplay features to keep things fresh. I still don't know why Natsume decided to keep the freaking name. They probably realized by hindsight that that's probably not a good way to how do I say this? To keep the respect of your audience. Okay, let me just quickly get rid of this here. And I'm just gonna copy up the strokes here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. We do this. Do this. Do this. And we do this. Let me see how this works. There's like a missing line here I need to make. There we go. Right, here we go. What else? Go. Let's do that. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm smelling a little bit of some barbecue in this room. Alright, so I think I might have to end the stream in a little bit here, guys, because I need to start cooking for my little bros. And I realized I didn't paint the hat here. Why didn't I not paint the hat here? Okay. Okay, then this one. Oh, wait, no, it's not too thick. Need my thick lines. Also here. And also here. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go for the next one here. Here. No. Here. Oh no, that's not it. Like here. What else? Here. And here. Okay. There we go. I think that does work. It's kind of a little bit janky, but you know, it works, I guess. Maybe I'll just fill up a little bit of this space here. Okay. Okay, that I think completes the turnaround here. Now we need to make the rest of this. Alright. I'm having a hard time freaking animating the stripes of this guy's shirt and hat. Okay, let's go ahead and animate the rest of this guy's freaking turn around. I want to play Harvest Moon after this, but I know that I need to freaking practice my. I need to study for my prelims after this. Okay. Beep 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 beep. There we go. I'll just drink a little bit of water. You know, something that intrigued me about Harvest Moon as a franchise is that, you know, I never expected a farming simulator to be this good of a game. Because who thinks of doing everyday chores and, you know, especially farming to be a very fun thing to do throughout your day. When I say play throughout this freaking game of Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, it sort of takes me it sort of itches this sort of instinct in me to, you know, just go out, touch grass, breathe the air of nature, and just, you know, enjoy living in a rural area wherein the only thing that you need to worry about is just, you know, taking care of a farm and relaxing as you go fishing and picking up stuff from the forest and shit. I don't know, I guess that's like human nature, I guess, to to enjoy like the little things that isn't really available when you're living in the city. Because I realized as I play Harvest Moon that what I realized about when I'm playing Harvest Moon is that there's just something missing in life when you're living in a big city like Manila, or you know, because it's just how to say it? I guess it's just so hard to go outside. It's hard to explain, but just there's something about the way we construct cities just makes it so scary and hard to navigate around compared to a rural city like a barangay, wherein you know you get to know all the people in the town and you sort of just take in the sights without having to just feel intimidated by how complicated life can get, you know. Because I realize is when I'm like going outside that you know you sometimes come to a point in, you know, as you're living in a city that you'll talk to a person who seems like he knows a little bit more than you. Like for example, like I guess any person that wears a suit and a tie, you sort of feel like intimidated talking to this person, and even though you're feeling intimidated, you know you need to talk to this guy because he could be the person that's in charge of, you know, things like taking your medical exam, or you know, he could be like your teacher or something. Compared to like a rural area in your in a back part of your country, you know, even though like a person would be wearing a tie, you would sort of, you know, like get to know this person because of how small your community is, and you don't really get intimidated to talking to these people because hey, this guy's just your neighbor from the other side of your house or something. And that's something that's really not present when you're living in a city. It's just so everything's just so big and larger than life here that I wouldn't be surprised that that could be the reason why, you know, children in this generation is just doesn't want to go outside because it's complicated. It's a very complicated environment that you're raising your child on, you know. That's why if you want your kid to, you know, be raised properly, just take them to a small part of a country, and that's not something too glamorous or something like a mall. I don't think they would. I think children will be intimidated when going into a mall, but you know, just go into like a little bit of your local market or something. Have them, you know, touch grass at least. Not only because, you know, I think that's, you know, that's the way to go or something, but you know, it's because it's I feel like it's much more approachable to talk to people who are just wearing what you're wearing, like sandals or slippers or an NBA jersey that they found while looking through their local flea market, right? And a person who's just wearing, I don't know, like a fancy uniform selling you makeup or clothes in a department store, like you just feel much more approachable if you're just a person who feels real rather than someone who's feels like he is made from a corporate decision or something. And that's what I like about Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon just sort of makes you realize how important it is to appreciate the small parts of our life, you know. Because happiness is not about having more, it's more about like, I guess, a change of perspective, I guess. How do I say this? Because I guess happiness is just not about finding what's comfortable or something that's, so happiness is not hedonistic, you know. It's not something you find by finding what's most comfortable to you. Because I feel like, just like games, the reason why we play games is because we want some sort of challenge sometimes, but not too much of a challenge that to a point that you don't know what the heck you should be doing. Like people just want there just needs to be like a little bit of a balance, you know, when you live life. Now going back to, you know, happiness not being hedonistic or something. How do I say this? Like, the more you immerse yourself in things that makes you happy, the more you start to sort of look for the next best thing. Like, you know, say for example, you get an iPad or something for your 12th birthday or something, and you're like, oh my god, this is a freaking good iPad. You know what will happen next? You'll not be happy for the rest of your life. Instead, what you'll be doing as like the next thing that you'll be looking forward to is to maybe look for an app in the App Store, and when you find the app in the App Store that's for some reason a paid thing, you'd be like, okay, once I get this specific app in the App Store, I will be happy from here on out. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. What will happen next is that once you get this app from the App Store, you'll be like, oh my god, it's so good for like maybe the first few weeks of your life after getting this app, and then you would start to look at what other people are doing right now, and you realize, oh my god, a new phone has come out, and you want to be like the other people because you have the fear of missing out, aka FOMO. And you're like, okay, I may have this phone, but if I get this other phone that this other guy is carrying with them, I will be happy for the rest of my life. And I'm like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. Instead, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be looking at the phone that you're in, that you just purchased because you want to be like all the rest, and you fall to the trap of thinking that this will satisfy your cravings. And then all of a sudden, in like maybe a few years time, you would start to see that, I don't know, like maybe there's another phone that's gonna be coming out in the market, and you're like, okay, this will be the next best, the thing that's gonna make me happy. And like, no, that's not gonna happen. That's again, like the whole loop is just gonna keep going again and again, and in the end, you will not be happy. Hey, I don't want to fault you guys on this, because I feel like that also happened to me once, because I was so Because back then, I think my mom was sort of, well, not really my mom, but I was so tempted to like buy a new PC for my own work here on YouTube, because I keep on hearing about these Blender people using the latest graphics card in making their renders. I think people right now are looking into the 40 series of GPUs made by NVIDIA. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to get this specific GPU and I will be happy for the rest of my life. And this was back then when I was still using my old laptop. I guess, well, since I'm using my old laptop back then, I guess it was the 30 series that I was looking forward to. I wanted a 3090 so bad just to help improve on the computer performance that I have. But the computer I was using back then didn't have a graphics card, so I thought, okay, if I begged my parents to give me enough money, I might be able to buy this computer that might have a better graphics card installed inside it. And I technically finally did that, got that wish. After, you know, working with my dad on a specific project for him, he thought, okay, maybe I can give Morgan here a new laptop. And at first I was like, oh my god, a laptop, really? But then I looked at the specs of this laptop, and it's a really good laptop compared to my old laptop. It had like a 2060 GPU, which I know is like last gen, but it's like, you know, I'm taking whatever I can get, and I got the laptop for myself, and I thought, okay, I can finally be happy at least, because I have this laptop with me. But then I started using it for a bit, and I thought at first that, you know, I would be happy with the specs of this laptop. But then I started to realize that I'm sort of been, well, let me just, I sort of been wishing little by little to get this other laptop for myself. I mean, I'm slowly, I'm little by little, day by day, I've been slowly wishing for myself to get a better computer. Because I was comparing myself, my laptop, to what other people are using, and people are using things like a graphics tablet, you know, to draw, and a PC to make all of the, you know, the renders that they are doing in Blender. And I'm like, and little by little, I'm noticing that in myself that I have been wishing to get this this laptop for myself for the longest time. And keep in mind that I mean, this computer of mine for the longest time, and I started to notice how funny it was that I'm wishing for this new computer to be next to my desk, because it was just at a point when I just recently got my laptop, and I've only been more self-conscious about the way I think about my spending habits when I you know, looked at a little bit of a video on YouTube wherein they talk about a little bit of happiness, and they sort of stress to mention that, hey, freaking happiness is not really about what you have right now. It's more so a change of perspective, really. Sometimes people think that the only way to gain happiness is just to be have like the latest, to be part of the latest trend, like maybe getting the latest technology, or I don't know, if you're not into technology, you'd maybe think about buying the latest clothes or the latest jewelry, or maybe even the latest shoes if you are into your brands. I know there are some boys out there, some of my boys out there that really likes to buy some good looking shoes from Nike or something. Clearly this car. But then I stopped myself and reflected, and I'm like, I don't really think this would really make me happy for, I guess, the majority of my life, you know, because I'll always be looking for the next best thing, and I will never really be satisfied if I were to purchase this one little computer that I've been looking forward to for the longest time. So, as a change of perspective, I guess I just stopped wishing, I guess. I stopped wishing to, when it comes to like buying these types of things, because I know it will be a little bit of a waste of time and money and resources. And I know that if I were to maybe, I don't know, if I want to get into like some kind of, if I want to be happy, I'd rather have it be on stuff like, I don't know, like spending time with family, or maybe working on a Blender project, because those things are free. You know, spending time with your family, hanging out with them, hanging out with your friends sometimes can even be a freeing thing. That is like buying stuff for yourself. Just, I don't know, just find something. Instead of buying happiness, why not just find happiness? Because, you know, in the internet, things that you might find happiness in are sometimes can even be free. Like, for example, this Blender program I've been working on. I find happiness in making animations and music for you guys, and the software I use are technically free. And I come to realize that anything that you want to keep you happy is technically just already at the palm of your hands. You just need to look for it. You know, don't rely on what people are saying is the trend, or what algorithm thinks and YouTube thinks is the right thing to do. Because people say that, like, I think the products that we're consuming and the media that we're consuming is getting bad and worse. And I can only agree to that statement when it comes to mainstream media and mainstream products that people are buying. But if you're gonna go look at some of the, you know, what some of the artisans are working on in things like, I don't know, like your exhibits that you're looking at in you know, in your fairs, or if you take the time to look at some of the videos that people are posting on indie websites like Newgrounds and shit, you would technically find people that are still very passionate about serving you guys the best product that they can generate, unlike these corporations wherein they have this incentive to put money first on top of everything. So if you guys want to find happiness, go find it. Don't rely on people's on the trends or the mainstream media to tell you where happiness is. It's something you need to find. It's not something that's just given to you, you know? And I guess people need to realize that. Okay, hold on. Let me just quickly color the crap out of this. I mean, I don't want to fault people who, you know, who spend too much money, because I don't know, maybe you have, there might be some circumstances when you do need to purchase to do a lot of spending, but just don't do it for the sake of being happy, you know. There's some things wherein money can buy happiness, but not all. Not all things can be brought. Not all parts of happiness can be brought with money. It's a little bit more complicated than that, you know. But you guys can all agree that You guys can all agree that spending more doesn't always mean you get the most quality of products, you know. Take for example some of your AAA games right now, like I remember Concord. I've heard of that of news of that through people like Moist Critical and some mainstream news outlets, and I heard it was like a game that was developed for 10 years by Sony, and it costed them millions of dollars, and you would think, oh my god, it's gonna be like the best looking game in the system for the PS5. But then when it finally came out, people think it was shit. And that really made me realize that, hey, money doesn't really just because you spend a lot on your money doesn't really mean that you're gonna get what you deserve, because it's because there not only are there scammers out there, but there are also people that really don't know how to price what they work for. So it's, you know, you guys have to keep in mind that the price of your products is, I get well, technically money, and how we price our products is technically a subjective part of human nature, I guess. It's not something that's as objective as, say, you know, taking the temperature of your body or calculating the volume of a specific geometric shape in a program like Blender, because, you know, money is something that's crafted via the vision of humanity, because we for some reason wanted to price what we work for. Because, you know, we just, we know that, you know, that resources are very limited, so to sort of combat the allocation of resources, we sort of have to price our products. But something that people sometimes fail to realize is that it's a very subjective experience when it comes to pricing the products and services that we provide sometimes. Of course, they can maybe do some market research in regards to what would be the best way to price, I don't know, like a McDonald's meal or something, based on what the competitors are doing and shit like that. But people, but in the end, it's all based on past human experiences, and human experiences, if you guys are unaware, can also be very flawed. Very wrong sometimes. Hold on, let me just quickly make the patterns for this. Okay, I'll just work on this one last frame, then I'll call it a day, because I need to cook some dinner after this. But hey, that's I guess that's another session with me in regards to talking about philosophy and mental health, even though I'm not really pretty much a qualified individual for that. Just keep in mind, guys, I'm not really a professional in terms of these, in terms of psychology, and you know what to think the best advice I can give you could be. I'm just basing it on human experiences in regards to me, and you know, as I've said before, human experiences can also be very flawed. Anyway, let me just quickly make the pattern for this guy, then we'll call it a day. I definitely really talked that much of Harvest Moon for the stream, because I came to realize how little there is to talk about in regards to my experience with the franchise as of now. Because I've only played like one game with it, but maybe eventually once I start playing Tale of Two Towns with you guys, I'll probably have more things to talk about in regards to that franchise. So yeah, let me just quickly make the following here. There we go. Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's turned off. Never mind. Like, I was there for a second because I was noticing that the frames weren't changing as I scrubbed through the timeline here. Okay, I'm just gonna paint a little bit more some black on this side here. Okay. Okay, then right. I think that's gonna be about it. So far, I've only made 5 frames. That's a slow output I did throughout the majority of the stream, but I guess that's the way it is for now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. If I'm gonna play this animation right now, it would kinda look like this. Let me see. If I put on the stadium and the where are the lights? Why are there no lights? What the fuck? Chairs, is it? No, it's the chairs. It's the. Where are my lights? Why are there no lights? That's not the lights I wanted. Cowboy. Do I need to include the... I am having a problem right now. Where are my lights? My lights are not showing up here for some reason. Ah, here we go. Alright. So if I'm gonna play this animation right now, it might look like this. It would look like... Let me just get rid of the wrestler here and the cowboy, and let's play it up. I'll just also include the crowd here as well, just to give you guys a little more of a idea how it looks right now. And also I'll give it the chair as well. So here's how it looks. Ignore the whole color here because I'm still not finished with it. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe, and go ahead and cook a meal for myself and my family. Now go read a book. Bye-bye. Bye.